What we do here is go back.
There, that appears to be working. Is that working now? Can you hear me now? What an absolute imbecile. Oh dear. Yep, start the year off as we mean to go on, as complete and utter noobies. I've turned this microphone on and off about 5 times trying to set it up properly. Just forgot to turn it back on at the most appropriate time. Anyway, so it is Saturday the 1st of January still. Seems like the 1st of January is an extremely long day. Very, very long day. And for those of you that are managing or suffering with a hangover, you've got no one but yourselves to blame. I have no sympathy with you whatsoever. And feel free to carry on drinking. You never know, it might even make the stream a little bit more bearable. Hopefully you've all had a good Christmas and all that kind of stuff. I actually don't know what I've said already and what I haven't said now. That's is really throwing me off my thing, my trajectory. Is that the right even word? I don't know. It's one of those days today already. It's been, well, it's been quite a weird old couple of weeks really, with this whole Christmas thing and New Year and where it's fallen for us, of bank holidays, etc. I've got no idea what is going on at all. It's weird to think that it's Sunday tomorrow. It feels like it was Sunday yesterday and the day before and probably the day before that. It's like every day is a Sunday. You're just counting down until you have to go back to work or go out and see people actually in the real world. There's the thing. It's supposed to be getting really cold here in the UK in the next couple of weeks, well, a week or so, and we're looking at sort of -5, -10, so things are going to get a little bit chilly. Although at the moment, weirdly, it's kind of, well, it's about 15 degrees here at the moment in the UK. It's bizarre. The daytime temperatures are insane. And there's a super chat come in from Sir Bob. And he is saying, Happy New Year, you filthy animals. Thank you very much, Bob. Appreciate that. I knew I should have my mouse closer to hand. Doesn't make life a lot easier. Yeah, so hopefully you've all had a good Christmas. Yeah, UK Vamp says it is very, very mild. It is bizarre how mild it is at the moment. It's extremely mild. It's I think they said it's the warmest New Year's Day on record. Well, at least since records began. So obviously take that with a grain of salt. I'd imagine when the dinosaurs were plodding around and everything was getting turned into mush, ready to make it into oil, I'd imagine there were some pretty spectacular tropical days right then. But that was a little while ago. Anyway, I'm digressing. So we are going to be building a PC tonight. This is going to be a bargain basement budget PC, which hopefully I am praying I actually managed to sell, because I got bits and pieces lying around and I got boxes everywhere. It's getting a little bit crazy. We have actually, for those of you that are members of our Discord, you would have probably seen in the X review bargain section, there's been a ton of stuff. Actually, most of it is gone already. So for those of you that have already picked up a bargain or two, then those should be winging their way out to you if you haven't received them already. I know there was a whole bunch of AOC stuff that went out to Bob. Kieran had a load of fans, and I'm trying to think what else went out. There were some joysticks, keyboard mice sets, usual stuff, mouse mats, all that kind of gear. Anyway, so if you want some more bargains, Kath and myself will be adding some more items to the listing in the next day or two when we get a bit of time. Probably won't be today, obviously, because we're streaming. Won't be tomorrow, probably, but Monday there should be a whole new bunch of things in there, so something to keep your eyes out for. If you're not already a member of our Discord chat, then you should be. It's quite good fun. You do get some people on there, some real characters, and you do get some people on there which really probably shouldn't be in ownership of PC components. And it seems that the people with the highest end components are the ones that are slightly lower down the PC know-how scale, which is ironic really, because those of us who've been doing it for years and years struggle to get a decent graphics card or a decent CPU, and then you get these young whippersnappers come along and they've got their 5950s and their 3090s, and you just think, why do we do it? Anyway, I'm digressing as always. We'll say hello to some of you in the chat in a minute. I'm going to introduce the parts. So this is a £300 build basically. So some of the things I've got real bargains on, some of the things probably not so much of a bargain on, but essentially it's a gaming PC for around about £300. So let's start off with something which you probably don't want to see. And actually I've got my price list here, just so I know the prices, because actually some of it I bought a little while back, so obviously prices have changed, etc, etc. So starting off with the GPU, sadly. Oh dear, why do we do it to ourselves? So this is MSI's Aero ITX, this is a GT1030. Obviously this is a £300 budget machine. All of the parts are kind of new in essence, so yeah, these are going to cost a lot of money regardless of what you do. This at the moment, I've seen these retail at the moment on places like eBay, and also if you type in a product on Google and you look at shopping, it gives you a kind of wide gamut of what you can buy the product for. I actually paid £90 for this GPU probably about a year or so ago. I've seen them go for like 120, 130, sometimes even £150 for the Aero ITX version of this card, which is still just blows my mind. It was way overpriced at £90 when I bought it. Realistically, this I would say is probably a £70 card at the most. £50 to £70 is what it's really worth. But in a moment, obviously beggars can't be choosers, so in a budget PC, you've got to go with budget parts. So this is the Aero ITX, like I said, so that is the GT1030, so that was £90. The motherboard, some of you have already seen this video already. This is MSI's B460m-A Pro, and this was an absolute joy to behold. As you can see, this was actually kind of a bargain from, I think it was CCL. I forget who it was from now, I'm pretty sure it was CCL. So yes, this is what you get for £28 here in the United Kingdom. A B460M chipset. Bizarrely, things are actually in place, most of the things that it needs. The one thing it didn't have was an I/O shield, but we're kind of winging our way with that. Surprised it actually had the LGA cover on there. It's got the M.2 cover, etc. And got 2 RAM slots. Again, this is a bargain basement board. When you're looking at the Intel LGA 1200 chipset kind of boards, processors, realistically, because most of the processors down the kind of sensible stack are all locked anyway, there's very little you can do, and Intel chips generally don't improve much in performance with faster RAM. So is there really worth any point at all buying a decent B460 or B560 motherboard? I've had this conversation with a few people in the YouTube comments from the video when this went out, and they're saying, yeah, it's absolutely horrendous, it's hideous. But if you look at a kind of a comparative chipset board, and actually we can do that right now because I've got one. No, I haven't. No, it's not under there. I've also got the Asus TUF B560 board, and realistically, I actually did a test between this board just to see if it worked with the 10600 on both boards, and just running basic benchmarks, it scores exactly the same. Exactly the same. Literally, like, well, not exactly, but within a couple of points of each other. So £28 board versus £100 to £150 board. Is there any point other than things like additional ports, a nicer layout, an actual decent coloured PCB rather than this horrible, horrible brown, which they clearly obviously make it for a reason, brown. PCBs, as a rule, generally don't come in brown. That is something you actually ask for. Normally they would be kind of like a green colour. So yeah, someone in their wisdom figured, hey, I know, we're making motherboards. We don't want it to be the bare green. What colour should we use? Let me see. What goes well with most PC components? I know, how about brown? Yeah. Anyway, £28, so that was, in my mind, was an absolute bargain. And it's perfect for what we're doing here anyway. Next is going to be the RAM. So we've got Crucial's Ballistix. And actually, I should do this on the overhead camera That would make a lot more sense because you can see what's going on there. So Crucial Ballistix RAM. Yep, you can actually see that, that's good. Crucial Ballistix gaming memory, so this is a 16 gig kit, DDR4 3200, which is slightly wasted on this particular board because we're limited to DDR4 2666 speeds, but realistically these days 3200 is kind of the sweet spot in terms of pricing, availability and often bargains. We picked this up for £44 just before Christmas in the Black Friday deal, so that is awesome. And these actually do look the business, they really do. They're finished in a really nice matte black finish, which is going to tie in really nicely with the motherboard, clearly. So yeah, very standard, no RGB. So for those of you out there that actually detest RGB, there you go. Nice looking RAM sticks, and usual deal, full lifetime warranty, all that kind of stuff. And again, 44 quid. I think that's pretty decent. Even today, I was looking on our Discord discounts and bargains section. No deals, no chat. No, sorry, deals, no chat. That's the one. And we're looking at about £55 for a similar sort of set at the moment. So that was pretty decent. Next up was the CPU, which effectively cost me £68. This is Intel's Core i3. This is the 10105F or 10105F, however you want to. They do some stupid naming conventions, they really do. So 10th gen processor. This is actually has quite a low base clock of around about 3.7 gigahertz. I've actually seen this in real world boosting up to like 4.4, 4.3, that kind of thing. And actually when it clocks right down on some of the cores, it goes down to 800 megahertz, which can improve things like temperatures, obviously, and power consumption, all that kind of good stuff. And we've got a stock cooler in here as well, which I'm actually looking forward to seeing how it performs. We probably won't find out tonight, but actually it does look quite an interesting thing and does seem to be quite an upgrade from the original one. So that was that. So that was £68. The case is, actually I'll show you the case in a minute because that's on the floor. The SSD, now this was a second-hand bargain nearby. So this is the XPG, this is the SX6000 Pro. Or is it the Pro? No, this isn't the Pro version. This is just the SX6000. 256 gig NVMe drive, PCI Express Gen 3 x 4. So yeah, absolutely fine. Got a built-in kind of heat spreader thing going on there, a little metal thing, which is actually a bit bent. That was my fault. I was being a bit rough with it earlier. So yeah, it's got a little bit of a heat spreader on there. Looks actually quite nice. So that is that. So £15 for that. Power supply unit, as you can probably see already, we're going to be going with the Aerocool Cylon. This was £15, which again was another one of those deals which was posted on the Discord. I think that was by Amish, wasn't it? Was it Amish who posted this? Sure, this comes from infinitecomputers.com.co.uk. 15 quid anyway, it was posted on there. Normally these would be about 25 to £30, depending on which one you get. There's a modular one of these as well, or semi-modular, which is about 30, 35. I had quite a few of these in the past and they seem to do okay. So that is all those parts there. So let's take a look at the case and then we'll get on with the build and we'll say hello to some of you lot in the chat. Let's see if we can move that out of the way. I seem to be getting less and less room on this desk as time goes on. So case-wise, not very exciting. Well, depends what your idea of exciting is. So this is the Sahara. This is the Black Alien, as you've probably seen before. This was, normally this retails for £60. In no way, shape or form is it worth £60 in anyone's money. Even if you've just won the lotto and you're thinking to yourself, how can I waste £60? This is not the way you do it. You're much better off going and buying a ton of booze, ton of food, buying takeaway you don't like. Anything would be better than buying this. Sorry, Sahara, gotta say it. This is what can only be described as a shit case. It really is. But shit in terms of £60. If you get it for 50% off, which is what I did, at £30, it becomes considerably less shit, which is always a selling point in my mind. So this was, I wouldn't say it was a bargain. There are better bargains out there. Some of the Neutron Labs cases at the moment from eBuyer here in the UK. Get some really good ones there. Awesome cases they're doing for actually sensible money. Nice layouts and all that. So they're definitely worth taking a look at. But this was 30 quid. I thought, oh, I'll take a punt at it. It can't be that bad. It comes pre-installed with 4 fans, which got 3 at the front at the moment. one in the rear, they're addressable RGB, it's got a little hub, all that kind of stuff. So it looks pretty. So when you're trying to sell it on Facebook Marketplace or eBay or whatever, then it's got that kind of bling factor. So people who don't know any better are going to look at the lights and go, oh, pretty lights. And they're going to be rushing to get their wallets or their PayPal accounts or their crypto or whatever they're going to get. You've got tempered glass side panel, which is okay. There is plenty of ventilation at the bottom. Again, you've got a fan on the back. There's not a lot of room for cable management. The top of the case is literally the top of the case, so actually putting any radiators or additional fans in the top, no, just no. That is why we're going sort of budget, low-end equipment in this, just to get the job done, really. And really, you don't really need a high-end case for a build like this. You really don't. So anyway, let's put that to one side for now, so I don't break the darn thing. And I'll show you something I did a little bit earlier. Now, the board I said didn't come with an IO shield. And actually, a long time ago, one of the friends of the family, or basically is a friend of our son, but kind of friend of the family as well, he actually made us up some 3D printed IO plates, like blanks. So this is what they look like originally. So basically it's an IO shield, just with tons of holes in it. So you can just trim it out with a knife or clippers, pliers, whatever, make it to whatever shape you want. Now I did have a go at making one for, I think this was for, I'm trying to remember what the layout was. Think about that. That was for a X370 Prime, the Asus X370 Prime, which didn't have an IO shield, which somehow I managed to actually get one later on down the line. Don't know how that even worked out. But anyway, I did manage to get one eventually. I did use it for a little while and it was okay, did the job, but now we actually have a need for it. So I went ahead earlier on today and I've been cutting it out. So we are working with that way round. So that is going to be where the speaker inputs are going to be. Got your USBs and your Ethernet there. Then there's going to be the serial port. And then we've got our PS2 and our USB ports there. So it's not going to look pretty. It's going to be okay. And it'll probably stop little Johnny sticking his fingers straight into the back of the computer, which is essentially what an IO shield is for. Although there's probably going to be electricians out there in a moment who are screaming at me saying, that's not what an IO shield is for. I know it's not. IO shield technically is for stopping kind of radio waves and frequencies getting either in or out of the case. That is what they were originally intended for, IO shields. But being that most cases these days are pretty open or have got glass side panels, that is kind of a little bit moot point. Anyway, so that is that. We'll be using those a little bit later and you can see live on air how badly that goes, whether or not it just disintegrates into pieces. If it does, you will be seeing a PC for sale on Facebook Marketplace saying PC for sale minus IO shield, because I'm not going to go and buy an IO shield for it. MSI, if you're watching, which you won't be, but if anyone from MSI, any of the distributors, stockists, etc, etc, if you've got an IO shield for a B460m-A Pro, please get in touch. The address is at the bottom, you can see it scrolling along. Poppy, stop attacking stuff. Right then, so where should we start? We should start with testing the power supply, because the power supply is the one thing that I have not tested at all. At least I don't think I have. Oh yeah, actually I should say some hellos as well, because otherwise I appear to be a miserable git.
Philip asked 3 fans in the front and 2 are hidden. Why? Because you're bound to miss it out.
Yeah, the thing with the fans, the three up front and 1 in the rear, because all the intake is from the front, there's ventilation there, then essentially it works out better. So there's going to be more airflow coming in. I could set it up to be negative pressure and have 2 fans in the top, 1 in the front, so they're more visible. Potentially I might do that. I might actually do that after. The other point of it as well, because I said earlier that the top of the case is literally the top of the case, so the motherboard kind of butts right up. Actually trying to get a motherboard in with the fans in place is a little bit more tricky. So I might do it as it is and then at a later point then move the fans around. But as far as things go, in terms of airflow, we've got a big mesh at the front. The 2 fans above and below are still going to grab some of that cool air coming in and push it through the system. So yeah, it should be fine. Again, it's a very low-end system. It's not going to generate much heat at all. And in fact, I would say realistically, what's this, a 65 watt part? The graphics card is probably about the same, if that. is very, very low wattage. It is extremely low wattage, and that's kind of like full loads. Realistically, when it's just plodding along, browsing the internet, you're probably going to be looking maybe, I don't know, 30 watts, 40 watts, something like that. It's going to be very, very low impact thermally. So let's say hello to some of you lot in the chat. There's quite a few of you, so this might take a while, but I'll try not to be quite quick. So we've got Welly Bob says his keyboard's having a fit. Sorry to hear that. Got Ugly Bob, and I'm not even sure if I can read that. I'm a Sladkey. Sorry if I've messed that up badly. Mike Finland, how are you doing? Mark Marlowe, Letta's with us as well. And who else? Philip Collins, no sound yet. Yeah. Do you expect anything different? Johnny G, no sound, bro. Yeah. Deathstroke, no volume, no sound. Yeah. Okay, let's fire through that. Domas says, Happy New Year. Wish you all the best for 2022 for this channel and its awesome community. I could not agree more. Matthew Day, silent. I should be. I'd probably be better.
Apologise for doing this. I haven't said hello.
Yeah, Kath says sorry to Dom.
I don't get all the messages for some reason.
Yeah, what have I got? Oh,
It's on live,
I've got top chat, not live chat. That's why, because I've not seen them all. Oh God, there's loads more. Daryl says, lol, yeah. I think I've missed out loads of people now. Nicholas Barlow, how you doing? Ricardo, how you doing, Ricardo? Says 29 likes, 70 watching. Please, more love, people. Yes, this year requires lots of love in order for us to get through. Mike Finland says the case looks okay. Yeah, it does. It's actually not a bad looking case, to be honest with you. Phil says interesting airflow on that case. Yeah, interesting. If the fans were any good, it would be actually quite a decent little case, but the fans themselves haven't got a lot of static pressure to them, which is gonna, yeah, it's gonna make up for nothing basically. You'd probably be better off with natural convection, to be honest. No, you wouldn't. It's not that bad. Daryl says it's awfully big for that board. It is, but I actually hate putting micro ATX motherboards into an ATX case. It's something that I would always try and avoid if at all possible. But this is super budget. There's virtually no RGB inside other than the fans themselves, so it's not going to be that obvious that it's smaller. And I've, be honest with you, I've seen worse. I've seen a lot worse. It could be a horrible layout, but I think this is going to work out okay. Mr. Hydrated says, built my PC and found out my 980 Ti is bricked. Oh, damn. Ultimate Tech Hub shit case, lol. It is. And thanks to Ultimate Tech Hub, actually, we entered into a competition on his channel to win some goodies over Christmas, and actually I did win the wireless HDMI sender, but because you're in America, we're in the UK, it's going to cost you a ton to send it, so please send it off to the next name out of the hat. Chances are I'd only get it, use it, and then go, why do I need this? And put it in the cupboard. But thank you anyway. And I was doing it more just to put some comments onto your video. Ugly Bob, yeah, Ugly Bob actually got a t-shirt for Kath for Christmas with one of her classic catchphrases on, which she may demonstrate a little bit later. I doubt though. Rick H says 11th gen Intel CPUs were a disaster. 10th and 11th gen, to be honest with you, have not been great. It's only the fact that we're in such dire straits in terms of AMD low-end processors at the moment that anyone's kind of even looking in that direction to some extent. And also, around the world, obviously, markets are different, and sometimes you get a lot more Intel stuff than you get AMD stuff, so it depends. But I think for kind of what I would consider like the UK, America, probably Canada as well, we do seem to be more kind of AMD focused at the moment than Intel. Letter says, I clicked the like button, that's easy for me to say. Everyone else do the same, please. Thank you. You don't have to do that, but it is very appreciated. Helps us get through this year. Ricardo says, no complaints with my i5 10400. I've got to be honest, I'm actually using that 10600 today. I was using it and I was thinking, this actually feels pretty snappy. It was a basic Windows 10 installation, which I did, and it did feel really snappy. And it made me think, do I go Intel at some point? Probably not. Don Dima TV says, hello everyone. Welly Bob says, £30 is less shit than £60. It definitely is. Lewis says, look at the size of that case. It's bigger than some people's apartments in London. It probably is, actually. Some people's apartments in London are ridiculously small, like doorway size. Ultimate Tech Hub says, the front looks strange, I'm not a fan. Is that me or the case? Who else we got? A letter, Azocomondes. I probably made that very wrong. There are better cases for £60. My case was £60. It's an MSI Magforge 100R. Looks better and is perfect for a budget build. For £60, there is definitely better. 100% there is much, much better. If it wasn't for the fact that it was £30 with free shipping and the fact that I've done work with Sahara before, I kind of thought, I was on the fence about it. Again, those Neutron Labs cases are very good and do offer a lot more. If only eBuyer in the UK did free shipping. If they did free shipping, it would be, yeah, it'd be a no-brainer. I would definitely do it, but they don't do free shipping, so that always comes into it. Obviously, with Amazon Prime as well, you get your kind of free shipping as well, next day, all that stuff. So buying from eBuyer, even though some of the stuff is very good, it's yeah, it's always a tough challenge, especially when you're trying to get down to these budgets. Welly Bob says my F15 case was £62. Yeah, the F15 case from GameX for 60 quid, still absolutely brilliant. Can't fault that at all. Aletta says this case comes with 4 fans that most people will throw away and replace with good fans. This is extremely true. Yes. Ugly Bob says he's been cutting things out. I'm counting your fingers, Mike, seeing how many you have left. I actually didn't cut myself. I did do the cuticle thing there a little bit, and that's been bleeding, so that was not good. But it wasn't actually down to the IO shield. Maybe I'll hit that again later. Dutch Jan, no IO shield, what's the problem? It's not really a problem, but it's one of those things that people pick up on. And I've seen people before ask for a discount on a PC, which is fully functional, just doesn't have an IO shield. And they want like 10, 15, 20 pounds off. And motherboards that sell on eBay, they always sell considerably less without an IO shield. Bizarrely, I don't know why, but they always do. Jesus, how you doing, Jesus? Hopefully you've had a good Christmas. For a budget build, go with the more ventilated so you can save on fans. Yeah, the fans were included in it, so kind of here nor there on that. Mick Woods, how you doing, Mick? Says, hi everyone, happy new year to you all. Good, good. Ugly Bob can't count because he's drunk. Mookie MC says, I think the motherboard was a budget buy and the IO shield was not supplied. That is exactly right, yes. Rick H, so yeah. Jim McKenzie, just about to get a pre-built delivered. i3 10100F and an RTX 3060. Should my upgrade be the CPU? Going to be dependent on your games you're playing. Realistically, most games these days are heavily GPU bound. If you're streaming as well and gaming, you might want to think about a newer processor, but 10100F is fine. 4 cores, 8 threads. What was it? 3.5 base or 3.6 base clock, 4.2 turbo. So yeah, going to get the job done. A lot of games, again, don't rely too heavily on CPU cores, so I think you'd be fine. Upgrade if you need to, not because you have to. Ordinary Dude says, hi. Good evening, Ordinary Dude, I should say as well. Funny, I'm doing the same thing, building PCs to get stuff out of my shop. Yeah, that is where we're at. Nicholas Barlow, Happy New Year. Matthew Day, you can get metal blanks that you can drill and Dremel. Yeah, I might think about that actually. That potentially, if this goes tits up, which it quite possibly will do, we might go down that route. DVDR says, I have a spare B450 and 2 times 8 gigabytes of 3200 RAM, and I'm planning to make a sleeper PC that isn't anything crazy fast, but you wouldn't expect it in the case I'm putting the Mobo in. That's always a good thing. Yeah, I quite like sleeper builds, they're quite interesting. Ultimate Tech Hub says, always start with the PSU, nothing else matters. Yeah, that is very true. Yeah, if the PSU don't work, I'm slightly screwed, and it could end the stream quite abruptly. I really should have done it. I really should have done it earlier and should have checked it all. I checked everything else, but I haven't checked that. Welly Bob says, I'm concerned by no mention of Poppy. Poppy is about, we're trying to keep her quiet.
She's just gone out.
She's literally just gone outside. We're letting her out now. She's got her little collar on, which barely fits, but yeah, she's going out and about. So
Barely fits as in too big.
yeah, it's too big. The collar's big. It's all slopping around her neck.
Not too big.
DVDR says my internet is so bad I have to watch 3 minutes behind. Well, that's all right, because that's where my brain is. My brain is normally 3 minutes behind what I've just said, which gets me into a lot of trouble. Patrick LaBelle, how you doing, Patrick? I spend too much on hardware lately. I postponed my 3D printer purchase a bit. I have an Asus, so that's supposed to be an A320M-K that I bought cheap from Amazon. That needed IO shield, and I was planning on doing the same. Yeah. You would have probably found it cheaper to buy an IO shield rather than a 3D printer. The 3D printer would be fun, although frustrating, I think. I don't think I know anybody who's got a 3D printer which hasn't experienced extreme frustration with it at some point or other. William Bodie, how you doing, William Bodie? Last week I did buy Instatek Argus RS14 RGB 140mm fans. For 3 fans for €35. Wonder if they are sold in the UK. Not too sure. I'll get Kath to take a look into that. Intertek Argus. I've not seen or heard of those.
I can't because I've got no mouse.
Somebody remind me in the chat or Discord or something, and I will try and look into that. So that sounds like a decent price for 3 140mm fans. Lewis says you're good looking. Clearly, obviously, you must be talking to Aletta or Kath.
Aletta.
Aletta, yeah. Valex says, would you say water-cooled PCs are good? Yes, they get better temperatures, but they are more prone for maintenance issues and cost more. Rick H says the GT1030 is 30 watts max. Is it really? Bloody hell, that is low. I didn't realise it was as low as that. Ricardo's with this, yeah. Willy Bob. All good on the cat front, yep, definitely. So, yeah, Patrick Bell says, every time you build a new computer, it feels snappy. It's the brain's way of cut out buyer's remorse for spending too much money. Definitely, definitely. Right, I'm going to ignore the chat for a little bit, so you guys chat amongst yourselves. If there is any specific questions you've got, which are ideally related to what we're doing here, just put a capital Q in front of the question, and Kath will keep an eye on it, or I'll try and look over, and if I see anything which is relevant. If not, I'm going to concentrate on this. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to test this power supply. So this could all go very wrong very quickly. This is new, I'm assuming. Yeah, actually, yeah, because it was shrink wrapped. So, there you go. It appears to be... Actually, have I tested this? I don't know if I did, actually. I might have tested it. I'm getting to the point now where I'm buying stuff which I don't really need, and I'm thinking almost immediately that I should be testing it before kind of any warranty runs out, especially within the first like 30 days or so. That's the last thing you want, is something going on with that. So I'm going to be using this power supply tester. Actually, Ugly Bob sent us this. Wow, that was hard. And used it a few times already. It's actually pretty decent. It's not as accurate as some testers, but they cost considerably more. So we work with what we have. So on there we've got the connectors for CPU and PCI Express, etc. So that is our 8-pin. We're now going to be using... It only actually works on the 6-pin for PCI Express power. Now the reason behind that is because the extra 2 pins normally are just grounding pins because of the extra power going into the slot. If you weren't too sure about that, you can actually convert a 6-pin PCIe cable to an 8-pin very easily by just getting an adapter. It literally is just extra grounding wires, so there's not a great deal that can go too wrong there. I don't think we've got a floppy style connector on here. Floppy poppy back in.
I think so.
God, Jesus Christ. Can you not? He said it as well, bang, you bastard. Thank you, Bob. You lovely bastard, you. Am I allowed to say bastard? Probably not. No, well, a bit late now. Right, we've got a Molex connector on that side, so let's plug that in as well. We're going to plug the lot in. We're just going all out on this. Don't think we've got a floppy drive connector. That's one thing I would have thought with a slightly cheaper power supply like this, that they would have put in a floppy drive adapter. Which way's the... I suppose SATA can go in anyway, can't it? It doesn't make a great deal of difference. So, power supply off. power on. Beep beep.
Veox is asking, I know if your PC's water cooled, as in the one behind?
Yeah, PC behind is water cooled. It's actually very cold, the PC behind me. It's idling at the moment about 30 degrees, I think, which is lovely. So power supply wise, actually let's give you an overhead so you can see what I can see, hopefully. Oh no, that's never gonna, it's never gonna focus on that, is it? Not in a million years. No, I don't think I'll be that close enough. Essentially the readout says our 12 volt is 12.1, 12 volt 2 is 12.1, 5 volt 5.1, power on good, or PG level is 270 milliseconds, which is fine. Anything from, I think it's anything from around about 200 up to 500 milliseconds is fine. Plus 5 volts is 5 volts, plus 12 volts on the SATA connection, 12 volts there, and 3.3 is at 3.3. The minus 12 volt, we've got flickering between 12.1 and 12, but nothing to be concerned with there. We've got our 3, there's no 3, minus 3 volt, no, plus 3 volts isn't lit up for some reason. Don't know why that is. Let's disconnect. What is 3 point, oh no, because we haven't got 3.3 volts, have we? Because that's the floppy connector, which is normally there. SATA does 5 volts and 3.3. So, yeah, happiness, that works. No, no strange noises from the power supply, so we're all good. Hey, Poppy. I'm trying not to attract her too much attention, but at the same time being polite. And don't climb up my ass, because that hurts. Cats, eh? Alright, so I can disconnect that. Stay. So let's put that to one side for now, because we don't quite need that. So let's get on and do the the motherboard stuff. Now, this is going to be a whole load of fun because Intel sockets are always rather enjoyable. Now I'm going to go with the stock cooler on this. There isn't really a reason for it other than I've looked at it already. The thermal paste that is on there is obviously rubbish, so we're going to replace that with MX4. But it does seem to be quite a nice looking cooler, and being that it's a very low wattage part, the motherboard hasn't really got the VRMs to actually do much anyway, so it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So actually, let's put the M.2 drive in first of all. Let's do that. Let's give you the overhead, and let's grab my screwdriver. So with this, we've just got a nice little built-in I/O shield. Not I/O shield. That's the one thing we haven't got. We haven't got an I/O shield. We've got the XPG drive there. It's only a 250.
Amazing.
Bloody cats. That's worse than Bob going bang.
Mabes. Stop. Amazing.
So let's get that lined up with there. Maisie, shush.
Amazing.
It's at times like this I wish I had a dynamic microphone.
That's not a puppy, that's a flame.
Yeah. That's her own son she's being despicable with. Right. So that is installed. That's very simple, very nice and easy. Actually, let's get the processor out. So Intel Core i3. I do quite like their packaging. It's nice colours and all that. I like the pale blue look. So we've got a nice little Core i3 sticker which we can splatter on. And for those of you that actually haven't seen the new cooler, the new Intel stock cooler, it's actually not too bad. And as you can see, it's got the copper slug in the middle, which the older ones didn't. They were just solid. It's color coded in black, so you've got all these black fins on there. And the real nice part is you've got 3 arms over the top now, which makes it look kind of a little bit more futuristic, and a new blade layout. Obviously, it's not a fantastic cooler. It's not going to cool things incredibly well, but it will get the job done. I've got a nice little Intel logo on there. And actually blacked out cables all the way through now, from start to finish, which is something which I'm actually very, very pleased to see. So let's put that to one side for now, and we'll get take the tab off there. Keep your little LGA cover, because you may well need that. It's a later date. And actually, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit on this bit. So You guys and girls can see it a little bit better. No, there we go. Can you see that? Oh, actually, Kath, can you do that light, please? Let's get some focus going on. There's our tally light. Yeah, there we go. Is that visible? Yeah, that looks, yeah, I think you should be able to see that okay. So, processor, where is the processor? Ah, it's on the side of the box. So here we are, a little clamshell. So it's our Intel Core i3 10105 or 10105. This is the F version, so we don't have onboard graphics on this, hence why we need a graphics card. And when you're putting in an Intel processor, there's little indentations on both sides which match up with the motherboard there and there, or just the writing on the processor matches up with the writing on the actual socket itself. So either way is a winner. And I always get a bit nervous about this. It just plops into place, so that's all good. Once it's in place, make sure that it's in firmly, give it a little tiny wiggle, make sure it's seated. Place the shield down, making sure those lugs go underneath the screw. Then you'll get to a point about here where there's going to be a bit of pressure, and push it down, out and round. Sometimes you'll hear a little bit of a crunching noise where the pins are actually flattening out. Nothing to worry about, it's absolutely fine. So that is the cooler in. I don't think I like the LGA setup at all. I'm pretty sure. And when the AMD go over to using that particular method, I gotta be honest, I'm not happy about it. I don't like it. I prefer the older zero insertion force or ZIF socket on the AM4 boards. If we move away from that for the next iteration of processors, it's gonna be a very sad time. Talking of sad times, let's get gunky with some MX4. So we can put some MX4 on there. We're not going to need a great deal.
Why do they want you to put it on?
Yeah. How would you like the thermal paste applied? Are we thinking a cross, a dot in the middle, using a spreader, catapult? Yeah. Wait for the thermal paste application. This is going to be. So let's say a dot, DVR says I spread my paste, diamond shape Mike, thanks Jim, no pressure. Wild Bill says a cross, Welly Bob says smiley face, spread, a capital I or capital L. Use the finger to spread, oh yes, bare finger, cross, dot, let the kitten apply the paste.
Poppy.
Poppy, where are you? Oh dear. A thermal paste super soaker, that would be it from a distance. A capital M in the middle, I don't think I could even do that if I wanted to. I'm gonna do a little blob in the middle, I think. I'm gonna bottle it a little bit. Is that enough? No, a bit more.
Union Jack.
A Union Jack.
Mona Lisa.
I think that is going to be enough. I've probably done a little bit too much there. So, no, it's completely out of focus. Let's get you there. There we go. That is probably a bit too much. I might have to spread it a little bit with my finger. Actually, no, I think that's probably going to be enough. Yeah, that'll be fine. Might be a little bit too little, actually. Oh, sorry, Kath. Can I have a little bit of blue roll? Blue roll, a man's best friend at times. So let's put the cooler on now. So if you've never used one of these Intel stock coolers before, this bit is a real pain in the backside. So you've got to make sure that the arrows are facing away from the cooler, or kind of outwards, not inwards. Inwards is the kind of the locked position, which makes sense if you think about it. Not that much does these days, but so little arrows on there. If they're facing away, that's unlocked. If they're twisted inwards like that, with the arrow inwards, that is in the locked position.
That cheap of MX4 is probably worth more than the entire PC.
Yeah.
Does the CPU not need to be completely covered?
No, the CPU doesn't need to be completely covered, and the reason behind that is because when you're putting the cooler on, And actually, if I squish this down a little bit, so just put a little bit of force on there. If I take this off straight away, you see it's already squished out to almost the shape of that. Now with more pressure, that is going to fan out a little bit more.
Oh, what, just that?
So there we go. You can see it's done it a little bit. I might put a tiny little bit more in. That hasn't spread out quite as much as I'd hoped. I think I took off a bit too much with my finger. So a tiny little blob more. The thing is, the only part of this cooler which actually does make contact with the CPU itself is only the circle. The bit surrounding it is actually recessed, so that is never going to touch. Oh, my thing's not scrolling. What's that, Kath? Kath said something, I'm not sure what she said. I can't see. Thermal paste application is one of those things which is, some people get really upset about it and make it a big deal. Realistically, it isn't. And it is one of those things that as long as you've got some on there, it's going to be fine. If you're into liquid nitrogen cooling, then yeah, it might make a difference. So with the pins, just push them in until they double click or double pop. There we go. And if you spin it around to the other side, you want to look for the pins and the plastic bits being splayed out over the edges there. So that means it's not going to fall out. If you want to, you can hold the board by the cooler and just make sure it doesn't want to fall out. And that's going to be absolutely fine. So actually, let's zoom back out. Don't need to be that zoomed in, do we? So let's stick the RAM in now. It's a little bit of fun with this. The MX4 actually spreads quite nicely. Not perfectly, but not too bad. A little bit on the gloopy side. Not sure if I've had it a little bit too long. Okay, so let's stick that in there. So we're going to do 2 sticks of RAM.
Okay. Stop.
Ooh.
Have you tested any DDR5 yet?
I haven't tested any DDR5. Whoever just asked that.
Jamie.
So that is...
This only warrants MX4, not MX5?
This does only warrant MX4. To be honest with you, I could probably just use some real cheap stuff on here. It doesn't make a great deal of difference. It really doesn't. And if you're pushing the processor like this, right balls to the wall, and you're worried about 1 or 2 degrees of performance, then clearly you've bought the wrong processor in the first place. Or you have far too high an expectation of your system. One of those. So there we go. That is, actually that looks pretty neat, doesn't it, with the new stock cooler. And the blacked out RAM. It's a shame the board is brown. It really is.
William asked, did you try the beer yet?
Well, that's okay. No, I haven't actually. I've not opened it yet. I've barely had a drink this Christmas. Right, so let's get rid of some of these things. We'll put the, I was going to say put it back in the motherboard box, but it's not even really a motherboard box, is it? It's just a, whatever it is.
Will the 105F be working with B460 chips and it is not being released for the 11th gen CPU?
The processor, the 105F is part of the 10th gen. It was just the 10th gen refresh. So it is still a 10th gen processor, it's just with a slightly higher clock speed. I was also thinking that myself, so it's not by any means a daft question. It is a very valid question, but because it's part of 10th gen, in fact, this particular board appears to only have ever had one BIOS update, and that was the original factory BIOS. I can't find another BIOS any newer, so literally every 10th gen processor which is available on the market works on this board straight out of the box, which is always a nice thing to have.
Are you going to run A164? See temps on the stock cooler?
Probably, I might do it at some point. I probably won't do it on tonight's stream. This is just going to be the build and having a look at it. I haven't really got the setup to be able to actually plug things into it, unfortunately, because my streaming monitor is picking up everything, and I've only got a monitor behind me, so it's something I need to actually work on in the new year. Oh yeah, actually, yeah, but then I can't output the content from it. Can't stream it because you'd have to get it zoomed into that screen. It'd be tiny.
Also, what RAM are you using?
The RAM is the Crucial Ballistix, which
Oh, yeah.
I did introduce a little bit earlier on. So Crucial Ballistix.
Ricardo's answered as well. Thank you, Ricardo.
That's quite nice. It almost feels like the processor and the cooler and the RAM are kind of actually wasted on here. Anyway, right, so that is the motherboard done. Let's get the case prepped. This is the bit I'm not actually looking forward to at all, because I don't like this case much, if I'm honest. So let's start off. I'll take the back off. Let's go back to the main camera for this. So I'm going to take the back of the case off. You can see the hideousness that is inside. It's not great. It's not. It really isn't great. And there isn't a lot of room to maneuver either, which is never a good thing. So we've got a little bag of odds and sods there. So there's some drive, what they call brackets or rails mountings. There's some little brass pillars there for motherboard mounting, and also there's a remote control for the lights and all that stuff. You can see you've got the hub there, so the hub's already pre-wired, the fans are already wired up. Something which I do need to consider as well when I'm doing this is putting the power supply in first, because we don't have a cutout along this top section for actually putting the EPS connector through, which is a real pain in the backside. I really don't know why. Well, I guess they made this case with something in mind, just not fun or ease of use or anything else even remotely like that. I will be glad to see the back of this machine, which sounds terrible, but it is sadly true. I can't lie. I don't like it. I really don't. I'm trying to work out where to put this glass panel so I don't smash it. I'll put it on the floor flat. That way it can't drop any further. I can drop onto it, which is potential. So case-wise, as you see, there's not a great deal in here to be excited about. It's fine. It's fine. Matthew Day says B460m-A Pro, a few BIOSes, including a Windows 11 special. Oh, of course, yeah. What I meant was there's a single BIOS. Yeah, I don't know why you said that. There's a single BIOS which does all the processors from day one. So I think it's version 10 or 10. I think it's up to 17, is it, at the moment? You might have to validate that for me. I think it was version 17, which I think is what was actually on the board already. So I'm going to go ahead and move the pillars for the bottom. I think on this board, do we need 6 or do we need 9? No, we need 6. And this is one where the micro ATX one is in a slightly unusual position, which is a bit of a pain. Actually, let's have a look. I'm only doing the pillars. I'm not actually going to put the board in quite yet because, like I said, the power supply really needs to go in, but I want to see where the pillars line up. I should test the I/O shield really. So that is going to go in the micro ATX position down the bottom here. If you haven't got one of these, get one. This is great. This is I think it's a 5mm. Yeah, 5mm box wrench on a screwdriver handle. Draper make them. A couple of other companies do as well. But really good for doing those standoffs. Right, actually, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try the I/O shield and see what it's like. See how bad of a judgment call I made. And it's probably not ideal that this case is actually not brilliant either. It's probably not even straight. Oh no, I think it's going to break that front door.
No, it's probably one.
I can't get that to go in there. This may require super glue. Oh dear. There you go. There is the IO shield in place. And it doesn't look amazing. Notice I said it doesn't look amazing. I didn't say it did look amazing. I think it'll work. I might unplug that cable there. Let's unplug that. I'm going to move that cable out of the way because when the board goes in, it's going to catch on there. I'm sure of it. In actual,
Did you say earlier there's got no holes for power leads?
no, there's no holes for power leads at all. It's a bizarre setup. It really is. I know a lot of companies, much like Sahara, they go to another ODM or like manufacturer, and they say, right, what have you got in this price point that we can personalize? And they'll go through a catalogue and they'll do pretty much what most people do when they're buying a PC. They'll look through the catalogue of parts and they'll go, oh, that looks nice. And they'll go on a visual thing, because a case is a visual thing, clearly. They don't always look at the kind of the finer points, such as how easy is it to work with, etc., etc. Where can I wire things? Where are holes situated? Can I fit a radiator in there? That's the sort of thing that they do at a later date after the deal's been done. And they normally then have that kind of buyer's remorse, much like some of us do. So if I put that in, ooh, that line up there, something is catching there. And there we go. How does that look from your angle? Does that look okay? I don't want to move it in case I break it. Actually, that don't look too bad. I just had a quick peek then. Call me old-fashioned, but I think that's a win.
Kind of matches the way the fan goes.
It does. What do people think? But Mike, it's an MSI board, your favourite, I know. Yeah, I think that looks actually all right. I'm quite pleased with that. And the colour of the plastic actually does look like it could look, oh, it doesn't look hugely out of place. I'm quite pleased with that. I am quite pleased. Mookie MC says the eye shield looks surprisingly good. Thank you. It does, not bad. Philip Collins says I'd say it's not bad, but not good either. It needs to be brown to be perfect. I know.
Watch out, you got Poppy.
Oh shit. I need to build over the glass panel then. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Get it all in and I'll break something. Right, let's get the power supply in. Because I'm moderately excited now. Not overly excited, but moderately. Now, power supply wise, I hate this power supply. Not for any other reason other than, in this case, it's going to be a challenge. It really is going to be a challenge. So there's Poppy, get out. At least with this, because there is quite a close contact between the power supply and the case itself, it's going to be pretty. Oh, idiot! I left the screws in the power supply, so now I get to take them all out again. Yeah, because it's quite close tolerance to the pass-throughs on the bottom, because we're using a micro ATX board, we've suddenly got a huge amount of room for passing things through. Although saying that, we don't further up the board, which might be a nose for the USB. So I might still have to go from the bottom side, or take it in through one of those holes.
Case, that would be fun to watch.
Cool. Yeah, print an entire case. I'm sure that someone did do that. I'm sure Linus Tech Tips had a 3D printed case, but it wasn't like a regular case. It was quite an open one.
What are you going to do with the PC when you're done building?
When I'm done building, I've done testing, it's going straight on Facebook Marketplace, or out to anyone in Discord. If anyone in Discord land wants it, it's got to go. I've got to make room. And also, it's a little bit wasteful to have it just hanging around here, not doing anything, when there's people out there that actually want to be playing games and using a PC.
You look like a wrestler building a PC, apparently.
I look like a wrestler building a PC. There's the worst thing I could be. Wrestler building a PC. I'll have to remember that one, that's good. Right, just going to put the 4 screws in the power supply. That's the wrong size screwdriver. I don't like that. So power supply in, almost. 4 screws to go. And Aletta says I may give Discord another try this year. No promises. You should do. It's fun. Well, it's not fun, but it can be fun. There has been fun on Discord somewhere, I'm sure of it. Right, so power supply is in, as you can probably see. So let's find our EPS connection, which is, I'm sure, is this one. And I'm going to put this through straight away, because otherwise it's well, it's basically got no other way of getting through. So I'm going to put that in there. Then I'm going to lay this down, and then I'm going to put the motherboard in on top of the cable, which is going to be a whole load of fun, I can tell. First of all though, I'm going to work out which screws are required for the standoffs, because that is something which always frustrates me when you're trying to put the screws in for the standoffs and you realise that you've got the wrong size thread, and then you've got to take the whole board out or try and pry the board up because it doesn't want to fit properly. Oh, I thought I'd done a building this already. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I just did an unboxing. Because normally I leave the screws in there so I know which screws it is. So let's try a fine thread to begin. Actually, there is some standoffs in here, some spares. And if my old man eyesight can do it, yes, I think it is a fine thread. Yes, it is a fine thread. What you can do with those spare standoffs, if you want to, just so you, excuse me, just so you don't lose them, you can put them in one of the lower positions. These are chrome, so they show up like a, well, like a sore thumb really, but it's okay. So there we go. Any newbies in the chat? Who we got now? Markovsky says I wanted to do a 3300X build when the buzz was about it, but stock in the UK was non-existent. I believe USA got some, but nothing here for ages, over a year. Yeah, there was, that was one of the kind of, almost like a vaporware CPU launch. Very few people actually managed to get their hands on one. There's been a couple around recently, a couple of Discord members have said, but it's, yeah, not been any real kind of volumes, unfortunately, which is a shame because it was a very good processor. It seemed to run very, very hot though, which is never a good thing. David Aitken, £4.49. Happy New Year, people. Looking forward to your 2022 subscriber milestones. Weird preset super chat limits on iOS. That's iOS for you. You can't blame me for iOS. That's Steve and the other person. Thank you for the super chat, David. Just when I'm about to do something a bit technical as well. Oh, that sounded like I broke something. I don't want to look. Well, no, it still looks pretty badass. I do like that I/O shield. I am secretly, well actually I'm not making much of a secret, I'm quite impressed with that I/O shield. I thought it was going to look absolute horse what's it, but it's alright. Oh, what have I done? Ah, there we go. Thought it was all going wrong, but it's not. It's all going swimmingly. Oh no, that didn't fit, so that's not going in quite so swimmingly. That's better. It's going in now. Oh dear. So yeah, hopefully you all had a great Christmas and all that stuff. Got lots of things from Santa. We had a really quiet Christmas. It's actually quite nice. We've got to the point now where we don't bother with decorations and all that stuff, and just enjoy Christmas for what it is. A bit of time at home with the family and all that. It's quite enjoyable. Right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that cable through as much as possible, but not too much in case I want to put those fans back up. Actually, saying that, I don't think I'll be able to put the fans back up. So, yeah. There we go, there's our I/O shield. You can't see on that camera, I'm being stupid. There's the I/O shield and the motherboard in place. It's a little bit, could do have been a little bit bigger around here. But unfortunately that was down to the way that the little cutouts or whatever were made on there. But certainly gives me something to kind of strive for the next one. If I do make another one, or do attempt to do another one, I think I could probably leave a little bit more in. Yeah, I think there's probably a little bit more I could have left in on this top section. But I think actually, because, well, it's free for a start, which is obviously a good thing. I think it looks pretty cool. I quite like it. I'm relatively easily pleased, as Kath will tell you.
Hot glue gun and filling the holes.
A hot glue gun with black glue would actually look okay. I could probably do that. Silicone would probably be a bit too much. Although hot glue in here with the stock cooler and my pathetic paste application, I don't know. It may not work out particularly well. I'm quite pleased. I like that. It's done alright. It's actually better than I thought it was going to be. And I didn't think it was going to be that good. Right, so we can take a look at some of the cabling now on the back here. So there's no real kind of proper methodology for this. It's just basically do whatever you think is right. Someone's probably going to disagree with that, because people like to disagree because it's the internet. But yeah, just do whatever you want to do. Now I'm going to wire this down and keep this out of the way, because this is going to be one which is going to be problematic getting the case sides back on, I think. So I want this to be in the way. Oh, thanks for watching. See you later, Aaron. And also invest into some side cutters. Little tiny ones, they're really good. And will help your cabling. Oh, damn it. You know what I didn't do? I didn't put the fan back in, did I? And run the cable through. Oh, no. Oh, and I just pushed out the I/O shield a little bit as well.
That's what the crack was then, wasn't it?
Did I push that out, or is it? No, I think it's alright. I don't want to touch it, but I am touching it repeatedly. I might have to go with the glue gun idea on that. Oh no. Am I going to be able to get the cable for that down behind the motherboard now? Oh no, no. I don't want to take that out again. Let's see if that'll bend round. There's nowhere really, is there, for it to go? Oh, you stupid swine.
If that's a bulge panel, you have extra space in the middle, Matthew does it.
There is going to be a little bit of space in the middle. You're absolutely right. Oh no, come on. I don't think I'm going to be able to get that through there now. I can barely see over there as it is. I might have to loosen off a couple of screws. So it's not the end of the world. I'm not going to have to take the whole motherboard out. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take out 2 of the screws on the top. And that way I can let the motherboard kind of flex out a little bit. And put that cable down through. Is that going to be enough?
Is it a windowed case?
Yes, it is a windowed case. Actually, I didn't do those up. No. No, the top is, well, yeah, the top is pretty solid.
You don't need that fan.
Yeah. I kind of do. Oh, damn it. I'm going to have to undo that one as well. Oh well, these are the things that do happen when you're building a PC, when you, well, either you're distracted or you're just a little bit of a tool. Let's see if I can get that around there now.
What active CPU cooler do you recommend for i9 11900K?
Active CPU cooler. Not too sure. Not too sure with those really. I've not followed the Intel stuff very closely. I know they need a little bit of extra juice, but I'm not too sure how much. I'm not sure if there's any CPU coolers which actually... Hey, there we go. That's come through. CPU cooler wise, I guess Noctua D15 is something which is probably going to be one of those things where it is going to be almost like a go-to cooler for that sort of level of performance. Otherwise, really, I think water cooling is probably what most people would probably suggest for that kind of level of CPU, because it does generate quite a lot of heat. Was it the 10900 or 11900, do you say?
11900K.
Yeah, I think realistically, most water cooling is going to be beneficial for that. Most air cooling, unless you've got a case which has got a lot of airflow anyway and has been set up properly, I think most air coolers are going to struggle, especially if you're overclocking. Yeah, it's a K, isn't it? Is it?
Yeah, it was a K.
Yeah, it was a K. So potentially you're going to overclock it. So you're probably water cooling is going to be your best option. You might be able to get away with something a little bit less in terms of air cooling if you've got a nice case with plenty of airflow. That is really what it's going to come down to. Now, I'm being a bit anal with this. I'm lining up the fan so you can see the RGB halo effect from the top and the bottom.
Have you done a review of the Aerocool Aero 1 Mini Eclipse case?
No, I haven't. I haven't done a review of the Aerocool Mini Eclipse 1. I was supposed to be sent one by Aerocool, and they said, oh, we've got a package for you with lots of bits and pieces, so you can do some reviews for us. So, oh yeah, that'd be great. And then it's, just never appeared. And I've actually spoken to them not that long ago.
It's quite long.
And said, like, what's the deal? Where's the bits? And they're like, oh, haven't you received them yet? It's like, well, no. Clearly, there would have been some videos out by now. I'm not that slow. And yeah, they said, oh, we'll chase it up, see where it's gone. And I've still not heard anything back, so it is what it is. Oh, come on. Oh, where did that go? Oh, it is there. This case is not the easiest to work in this top section, which is why I didn't want to take that board out really. I'll have my tongue sticking out in a minute with concentration.
First time to buy the Shark Zone C10.
Shark Zone C10, is that the new case? I think someone did send a picture of that to me, or a link to it. Although it was pre-Christmas, so I can't really remember what it was like. Right, so we've got the fan back in, finally, thank goodness.
Roadman asks best budget power supply 750 watt.
Best budget power supply, 750 watt. Actually, I don't know for 750 watt. For 700 watt, I'd say probably the one I'm using for the sake of 15 quid. But it depends why you want it to be 700 watt. I didn't want this to be 700 watt. I would have quite happy have been 500 watts, but I couldn't find a 500 watt power supply for this kind of money. So that was kind of part of the reasoning behind it, I guess you would say. What is that? That is USB. So yeah, why do you need it to be that particular wattage or rating? Because if you need it to be 700 watts and you need it to be a real 700 watts, then possibly you're kind of going about it wrong anyway. You don't really want a budget power supply if you need that kind of sustained wattage. If that makes any sense at all. So what I'm doing here, for those of you that are interested, which probably aren't, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So this is the I/O cabling, just trying to put this through. Yeah, actually would be, well done. I'm just getting the cabling, so starting some of the cable management. Again, because of where the cables are coming from and going to, because this is a micro ATX, it's not possibly going to look great. But thankfully, on this particular case, they're all nicely blacked out. So it's not going to look horrible, but it could look better. And I need to find somewhere to route that last of all. So that is the infrared receiver for the RGB. So I'm going to put that to one side for now, because I'm not entirely sure where the best place to mount that is going to be. I have got the RGB controller connected up to the reset switch as well. So if for some reason this stops working, then we can use the remote control. So where is the USB header on this board? It's going to be towards the front, and it would be. So take that back up and go through there. Let's go through there. And yeah, that's worked out to be quite a nice little place for it to go. Do I do up and over? And then down? Not quite enough length on there. Which is a shame. That'll be okay. Yeah, that'll be hidden.
James nipped in, but he's got to do something.
Hey James, how you doing? Got to do something. Come see the finished result later. Happy New Year to you, sir. Yeah, I think that is... Sorry, just looking at the chat there, see if there's anything I need to think about. Hopefully not, because thinking is rubbish. It's very overrated. Right, I'm going to do the front I/O now. So hard drive LED is going to be in the bottom corner. I do like this actually. That is the one true benefit of micro ATX, actually, in a case like this, is the fact that you can actually get to the front I/O connection panel very, very easily. And this, there should be more cases that have this kind of setup where there's actually a lot of access to get to it. So power switch on there. This isn't going to look pretty, but I've kind of set myself up that that is the way it's going to be, and it is just going to be what it's going to be. It's not ideal. Oh, and that one's not long enough. Damn it.
Quick PSA, Epic Games currently giving away Tomb Raider Trilogy.
Oh yeah, Tomb Raider Trilogy is free currently on Epic Games.
And it includes Rise and Shadow of Tomb Raider.
Definitely worth getting involved with that. Oh, you absolute arse. So the front HD audio connection cable is literally about an inch too short. Oh, God.
Budget build, it should feel budget.
It's, yeah, that's true. If a budget build normally does give you that kind of, that feeling of just general terror. Now I know Amish did a build in this case, I'm pretty sure, after I tentatively recommended it. That was probably a judgment error if I ever come across one. So where does that cable come from? Oh. Now you'd think that that would be long enough, but for some reason it just doesn't want to go. How can I do that in a way which is going to work?
Under the motherboard.
That is frustrating. I don't want to leave it disconnected because the front panel audio is definitely going to be one of those things where somebody at some point is going to turn around and say, how come my front panel audio doesn't work? And I don't want to have to be that guy who says, oh, sorry, I forgot to wire it up. So, oh, jeez. All I need to get is an extra inch out of that, and it'll be not perfect, but it'll fit. Let's take that front off. So, yeah, if I hadn't cable tied that down quite as much. Oh dear. I did actually go into a lot of time and effort to cable tie that.
Maybe you should have gone for a more iron man.
Right, let's snip that cable there. And snip that cable there. So I should be able to then pull through a bit more of that. Oh dear, that's going to hit the cable. Yeah, that's going to hit the fans now, isn't it? Oh, this is just a bodge from start to finish. How would you expect me to do it any other way? Right, please, please be enough length on there now. I am always tempted to skip this case and start again. There we go, it fits now. Yay! Doesn't look pretty, but it fits. And that is what we are concerned with. Actually, I'm going to run that cable along the bottom. I bet that don't fit now, over. Is that going to go? Oh no, that's just slightly too short as well. I pull through a bit more. Oh dear. Come on, it needs just an inch, that's all I need. I don't want to put too much pressure on that, but I might have to. Oh, that's horrible. This is actually making me cringe. No, right. I'm not going to pull that through. It's not that important to me. I'm going to put it back through there. Stick it in there. So near, yet so far. Just need to stick that down somehow. Yeah, this is probably not a great idea, was it, in hindsight? Hindsight is a wonderful thing. I should use it a lot more. Right, so where were we? Let's get that back up there. So that is our SATA connection for the doodah thing. Let's run the main power cable up. Put those to one side. That is going to go through just under there, I believe. And spin that round. Now with the power supply cable, what I'm going to try and do is I'm trying to get as much of it actually inside the case as possible. So A, it's going to cover up the USB 3 cable, but also it's going to actually reduce the amount of wire which I have to stuff in this back section, because it is it's pretty loaded back here. Now fortunately, obviously for the PCI Express card, there isn't one as such, or at least not one that requires power. So I'm going to go ahead and bundle it up a bit. Yes, Kath?
The connectors and cable length would probably be fine on a full-size board.
Yeah, if it's a full-size board, yeah, it would definitely be fine. I was kind of thinking that at the time of routing it through, thinking, if that was bloody a full-size board, that would fly in there. But it is what it is. Hey ho. So let's put a cable tie on that just to keep it tidy. Who said that? Mookie MC, yes. I had an awkward thing happen this week actually. I bought a new camera for filming content, not the one we're using now. It's the old one still. And I've filmed a load of footage in 4K because obviously 4K is the future, etc, etc. And I put it into my PC and literally Premiere was just like, no, not interested. Trying to scrub along the timeline, it was horrendous. Now I'm one of these people that I don't like editing using proxies because of the way my workflow works. My workflow is different from what most normal people's workflow would be like, I would guess. I've learned a way of editing which suits me, and that is the way I choose to edit. We all get used to these things. And yeah, it wasn't having it. So I ended up actually downgrading my graphics card in my PC from the RX 5700 XT, and I've just swapped out and put in the RTX 2060 Super. So technically that is a kind of downgrade in my opinion, but touch wood, it does seem to edit a lot nicer with Adobe Premiere. I hate Adobe Premiere. It makes all kinds of hassle for me in my life, but I do enjoy editing with it.
Don't like paying for it.
I don't like paying for it, no, that sucks. It's a bloody expensive piece of software. That yeah, it's something that Klaus Schwab would have loved. So I pay for it, yeah, I never own it. Political there. Now, where am I going to put the receiver? I'm going to just poke that through on the inside for, I think. Actually, do I? Don't I? Where would the receiver be best, do you think? Because there is a very limited range on this receiver for the RGB. So, I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud now. I'm not actually looking for anyone to give me a specific answer. Yeah. Well, if I talk out loud, it's slightly therapeutic. I'm going to put the sensor just in there. If it works, great. If not, I'm going to take it apart and I'll start again.
What's the RAM in the background PC?
The RAM in the background PC is... got to think now. V-Color. V-Color Prism Pro, I think. Yeah. Weirdly, we're done in this back section, I think. That's good. Right, let's go to the overhead, and we will stick in the graphics card, which isn't going to be overly exciting because it's not a great graphics card, but it is a graphics card. So I'm going to take this back panel off. J Rich says backwards capacitors on ASUS motherboard. Yes, that was fun, wasn't it? Just goes to show that early adopters do feel the pain, both in the wallet and also the product quite often. Which actually is a shame, isn't it? You'd think by now most manufacturers would have learned to have done things and test things, but it does happen. Johnny says, how much does a £300 build cost anyway? Somewhere in the region of about £300. I don't know how to answer that. If you convert it to your local currency, I'm not too sure. If Great British pounds are not your cup of tea. Right, graphics card ahoy. Oh, got to take one of those out as well. Wiggle, wiggle. Nick Barnes.
If I wanted to put photos together in a slideshow, would I need fancy software? Plus, it's video editing, CPU or GPU based. Great stream, by the way.
Nick, to answer your question about the putting photos together in a slideshow, one of the easiest ways to do it, there's actually a tool built into Windows that will do that. Windows Movie Maker, which I think there is a version of it that you can download. But if not, there's a lot of tools. Making a slideshow is actually quite an easy thing to do. You can, if you want to, you can use the free version of Microsoft PowerPoint, and you can do it in that, and just put each picture actually as an individual slide, and then you can set up animations, transitions, and all that kind of stuff. It's quite a nice way of doing it. If you wanted to send it to someone so they can view it as well, then you can do that. You can export it as an executable file, I believe, or some sort of PDF style thing. There's various ways of doing it. So yeah, it's not an overly intensive task. An individual picture isn't a kind of a massively intensive thing for a PC to do as a slideshow. Transitions are probably going to be the more difficult thing to do because it's blending one image into the next. But it's not a very intensive thing to do.
Johnny's replied, in tech conversions, 1 GBP equals 1 US dollar, 1 euro.
Right, Johnny, yeah, Great British Pound, I think at the moment is about $1.3, $1.4, and against the euro, I think the euro is about about €1.10 possibly. I haven't had a look for a while, but the pound is stronger than both the euro and the dollar at the moment, or at least worth more. So, which works out bad for us because we get paid by Amazon, and we also get paid by Google from America. So they take the pound, they pay us in dollars, which when you see it on paper, you think, wow, that sounds like a lot of money. And then they convert it into UK pounds, and it's like, that's not so good. Not that we're not grateful, we are grateful, but it's not a huge amount of money. And when it's converted, it seems even less. Well, I think that is it. There's the graphics card in, which hopefully you can see now. It's a tiny little graphics card, it really is. So let's put the, I'm confident that I can put the back panel on. Because if it doesn't work, I'm just gonna set it on fire.
Might need flame.
That went on easy. That worries me. Clearly it's not gonna work. Now this is, I will be able to fire this up, but I'm not sure whether I'll be able to show you the screen unless I plug in on there, which means that's going to go over there. So, yeah. Johnny says, nope, we get stuff way cheaper here. You do. Anything,
oh, I get what they mean.
yeah, anything sort of tech-wise, normally, if you're buying, is like a one-for-one conversion. So in the UK, a processor will be, say, £99, and it'll also be $99. So it costs us more to buy things here, but the monetary value is worth more as well. So if you were to, if you were buying something in America using dollars that were converted from pounds, it would be much better. So if I sent you £10 and then you went to buy something in America with your equivalent dollars, so it'd be like $14, you'd get much more for your $14 than what we would have got for £10 over here. Especially tech. Does that make any sense?
And clothes, isn't it?
Yeah, clothes is a similar sort of deal. As Johnny says, you see the currency doesn't follow Forex and technology. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. Yeah, it's weird how that happens. Right, how am I going to do this? So if I unplug that, and then I can plug in the PC. Is that going over to there? Yeah, that's going over to there. I can work with that. So power on. And stick the HDMI cable in. Making sure I put it in the graphics card, not in the motherboard, as a few people have done recently. And wireless keyboard and mouse would be useful, so let's grab that. And plug that in there.
Says the RGB case fans blades look awfully similar to the ones on the Intel stock coolers.
Oh. Right, let's see if this works. Turn that on. Turn that on. Oh, you idiot. It actually didn't work.
Jump.
Did I plug that in? Yeah, power supply's on. Okay, did I unplug that for any reason? No, I didn't. Oh God. So something clearly has gone wrong here. Oh. So what is not plugged in there? That is the power switch. Yeah, power switch is on the top. I've got a dead power switch. Maybe a dead power switch. I'd have never thought that in a million years. Is it going to actually post? Seems to be doing something. Hey, there we go. Windows desktop. Perfect. So why does the power supply not turn on from there? Power switch. Let's try that again. Wonder if it's stuck in the on position or something. Doesn't seem to be making a very good connection actually.
Check the cables on the motherboard.
No, that doesn't seem to be doing anything, does it?
Did you cut the power cable?
If I press and hold it, it should turn off, shouldn't it?
Bang.
Oh, don't be a dead power switch. That
When you pulled the wires to get more length, maybe the power switch got disconnected.
That is actually a very good point. And the fact that we've got no RGB on either does lead me to think that something like that might have happened. Where's the on thing? Well, actually, pressing... Hey? Pressing the reset button turned off... What the hell? No, that's the power button. That's the reset switch. But the reset switch is connected to the RGB controller.
Again, you've got your RGB now.
Yeah, so the power button is now... Right, I need someone to validate this. Right.
Swap them.
Yeah, but there's one that says power switch there. It clearly says on there power switch.
With your eyes.
No, check it out. It does, honestly.
I can't get near.
That says on there power switch, and the reset switch is literally plugged in to the controller. But if I press the power button, it cycles through RGB, although not RGB on this.
Sounds like the pins are labelled wrong. Come on.
How would they label the pins wrong, for God's sakes? I know Sahara, but come on. Right. So...
Turn it off first, maybe?
I'm not turning it off. It might not ever come back on again. Oh, I know why the back fan didn't come on. So I plugged it into number 5 rather than number 4. So that's on me, totally. So does that come on now? Yeah, that's come on now. Okay. Right, let's take this power switch, or sorry, reset switch. It definitely says reset switch. 100%. So if I put that through, under there. Oh, that's not sounding good. Right, so if I put the reset switch on there, and now press the power button, shutting down. So they have actually wired up the reset switch and the power switch round wrong way. Absolute morons.
Okay, Bob said, sod this, I'm going to send him another case.
Please don't, Bob. I've got too many cases. Oh dear Lord. Right, so if I plug that into here, here, and here, and then that will make the RGBs work from the reset switch. Ooh, that didn't sound good. So I press reset now. We can now cycle through the colours. And that seems to be working a little bit. Not perfectly, but a little bit. So off, yeah, on. You have got to be crazy close to it. Fan.
Do they plug into the case front, maybe switched at that end? Hello?
Hello?
Do they plug in at the case front, maybe switched at that end?
Yeah, I think that's probably what it is. So if we put on fan auto, it stops working. I don't like this controller. Is that the slow speed? Yeah, that'll do. Right. Oh dear.
Do you need a beer?
I do need something. Is there a nice looking RGB setup on here which I can leave it in? See, I'm very... Oh, that's a horrible RGB look, isn't it? Ugh. Absolutely hideous. Right, I'm going to put the back panel back on because I don't need this open anymore. I am very tempted. I've actually got some other fans from various different brands which I might just put in there. Take out all that Sahara nonsense and just put in something else. Come on. Yeah, this isn't a great case. Although I think I pretty much said that when I reviewed it. Did I or did I not? I'm pretty sure I did. To be honest with you, actually, I
think you said for the price you got it for.
For the money, it's okay. For 30 quid, it holds a PC, and it's got some lights which occasionally work, and some buttons which work occasionally if you plug them in the wrong places. Oh, don't push the bloody IO shield out. This is one of those. This is the build from hell. It really is. Okay, so let's do a little bit of a test on the temps, because I'm sure there's going to be someone out there which is going to be crying.
Do you need to adjust the set round, or is that right?
Actually, yeah, could you do that for me, please? Aim it on the old screen.
Just big?
Yeah. And I'm gonna... Actually, there's a CPU test in here, isn't there?
See, look at my screen.
I can see it on there.
Just like that, yeah?
Yeah,
Bigger?
that'll do. Let's get rid of the live banner. Yeah, and a bit of focus as well, please.
Try turning that off as well.
There we
Can
go.
you read that?
Yeah, that should be visible. So currently, if you can see it, the current package temperature is 27 degrees. And it looks like it's at a high of about 38. 27, 28, yeah, so it's around about 27, 28 degrees with the side panel off. So I'm just going to stick on the bench there and let's do stress CPU and we'll see if it climbs. And actually, saying that, I think I've got MSI sensor on here. So we can actually monitor the temperatures in real time. No, I don't want to do that. Hardware monitoring. And there we go. So you can see it a little bit easier there. Hopefully that is visible. So CPU usage 100%, CPU frequency you can see there. That'll be a good sign to see if it's actually throttling or anything. Not that it's likely to. And you can see if the so CPU core temperature up to 56 and climbing. CPU fans at 44%. Still not very noisy. She sounds pretty quiet, to be fair. So still no sign of throttling. Temperature still climbing, 58. Socket temp rose slightly then, I think. CPU fan 49%, so it is getting hotter. So the thermal load is getting warmer. I wonder what I was going to top out at. It's a little bit boring watching this, to be honest with you, but it's real time. I'm not changing anything. So yeah, CPU fan's still at only 50% or 51%. So in theory you could set it so that it gets to a certain temperature, like 60 degrees or something, and it's at 100% fan, which would then... Actually, we can do that, can't we? Because I think, yeah, user scenario. So let's go into customize. We go into CPU fan. Let's increase that curve. So what's that? So 99% at 60 degrees. So let's see if it can actually cope with that. Whether or not I can cope with the noise, that's another matter. So what we're looking for now is for the CPU fan at 100% or 99%, as you can see there. If the temperatures start coming down, it means we're within our thermal limits. So can we watch it? Oh yeah. Just seen in the thing there, Mark Ofsky saying, can we watch it boot from the start? So do you mean install Windows from the start, or I'm trying to, look, do you just want to see it boot into the BIOS? So what you can see there is the CPU fan now is ramping up and ramping down. So it's kind of finding an equilibrium. It's dropped down from 60 degrees and it's kind of 58, 59, 58, 59, going around that sort of level. But this is 100% all-core load, which you're unlikely to experience on any kind of regular, normal basis.
No, just boot time.
Oh, just see on a boot time, okay. So I think that's actually going to hold it well. CPU usage again, 100%. The frequency is holding, it's not throttling, so we're still around about the 4.2 gigahertz. Just slightly under. MSI boards always seem to slightly underestimate that. So yeah, it's gone back up, 4192. So if we were at a position where the thermals were getting out of control, we'd see the megahertz gradually drop down and down and down and down to a point where it got to a lot lower. And then obviously you'll see your temperatures come down and your CPU fan come down, and then it go back up and go around that whole thing. I think for an all-core load to be 58 degrees and the fan you can see is dropping down again. So 60 degrees I think is pretty actually not too bad considering what it is. Ambient temperature in the room at the moment, if I just look over on the side, actually I can show you as well because, oh, before I drop something. So hopefully, can you see that? I can't quite see on the screen myself. So see the temperature is 23.8 degrees.
Yeah, I can see on the phone.
So that is the ambient temperature, just below 24 degrees. So if you take that off of 60, that will give you your delta temperature. which is going to be what, 36. Bloody good. That seems to be leveling out. And what do we get in terms of frequencies? So yeah, 4.3, 4.3, 4.3. I think that works for me. Right, let's stop that. Close that. And now the temperatures will come down to normal. So just with it, the system idling with that more ramped fan. CPU core, see it's cooled down actually really quickly, 34. In fact, the core temperature is actually cooler than the socket, which is not something you see every day. And now it's actually not far off being silent. So somebody asked, oh, Marco, is it Mark? Yeah, Mark asked what the boot up time is. So let's shut that down.
What's the name of that software, hardware monitoring?
Which one?
What you just had on.
That is MSI Center. Right, so I'm going to press the power button now. So if anybody wants to time it. Can you see my hand in the screen? No, you can't. Right, okay, so 3, 2, 1. I'm not counting. So there's your boot time. Was anybody counting or timing? Because I didn't see it. That's actually very quick. Has anyone put it in the comments? Did anyone time that?
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. No, that's pretty good. "23 degrees in winter, sounds like summer temps." 12 seconds. Bloody quick, says Incognito. UK Vamp, fast enough, 8 seconds or so. Stuart Cleary says 10 seconds. So I think we can chalk.
Spears said 4.
Yeah, I think we can chalk that up as being fast enough. Right, let's get that back on there.
Got to readjust.
Yeah, can you readjust the focus, please? So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. That's actually pretty nippy. I wasn't expecting it to be quite that fast for booting up. That boots up faster than my own PC. It is a fresh install, so there is that to it. And there's very little on there. It's not got a Microsoft account to sign into or anything like that, so that is going to be quite a lot of what most people's kind of issues are going to be with actually doing that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm actually pretty pleased. And and I haven't got the Ethernet cable plugged in either, I've just realised. Not that that makes a huge difference, but I suppose it can do. Right, let's shut that down. Unless there's any other sort of quick tests we can do. Is there anything that anyone wants to see which we can do, which is kind of easy to do and doesn't require a huge download? Or are you all quite happy? I'm quite happy, I've got to be honest with you, this works out pretty well. I can't download Tomb Raider because I'll have to sign into my Steam accounts and all that, and I'm not doing that in a live stream in case that goes wrong and I end up exposing my details to tens of people. Yeah. So Tomb Raider, unfortunately, no. And actually, if I start downloading stuff whilst we're streaming, it messes up the stream quality. And I don't have a Steam cache.
Complete Far Cry 6 for us while they watch.
Complete Far Cry 6. I wish I could. I still haven't done it myself. I have been playing it. I have been enjoying it actually, but I've got to the point where I've finished. I think I've finished the main game. Now I'm doing all the side missions and kind of basically doing the whole thing all over again, but with rock solid defense and all that stuff. It's a really challenging game. The first time round was good, and it did take a little while to get to grips with everything, but yeah, it's a good game. I like Far Cry 6. A lot of people have been slating it, but I actually think it's probably one of the better ones. Far Cry 3 story-wise was probably better, but the gameplay, I think, in Far Cry 6 and the way that it's evolved, I think, is worked out really well. Certain elements of it weapons, I suppose, probably better in 4. Yes.
Dave Aiken said could run OCCT and run a few GPU stress tests.
OCCT. Yeah, I can. Well, I kind of could, but I can't, because OCCT is only free for non-commercial use. And being this is on YouTube and it is a monetized video, technically they might get a hump with that. And the fact that I've now said it out loud means that if I do it, I know I'm doing it knowingly. So I should have shut up and just did it, really. Oh well, we'll make mistakes. Let's see what else I can... Heaven I can do. Heaven will be a very simple one to do, and that's actually pretty quick to download, so shouldn't affect things too much. So this one's going to be sold. I'm going to sell this for basically exactly what I paid for it. So if anybody wants it and they want to pay me exactly what I paid for it, they're more than welcome to it. And if they pay what I paid for it, I will even throw in some other freebies like a keyboard, mouse, headset, microphone, all that kind of good stuff. Potentially even throw in a Windows license key as well. From premiumcdkeys.com/Mike's Ironically, if I do buy a CD key from Premium CD Keys, I do actually get income from myself, which is quite impressive. Eugene, where is it? Oh, I knew I should have typed in Heaven.
Do a barrel roll.
Do a barrel roll?
Yeah.
What, me personally?
Yeah.
No. Why would I want to do a barrel roll?
Ugly Bob wants to see.
Is that Ugly Bob asking me to do a barrel roll?
Yeah.
I can't in my current state of physical prowess. I don't think that would work out very well at all, especially for me. And being that I'm working tomorrow, I'm going to have a lot of work tomorrow actually, because like I said, I filmed 3 or 4 videos in 4K, which are in the process of being edited right now. Then, so when I finish work tomorrow, I'm going to have to come home, answer all the YouTube questions as per usual, and then edit the videos, make the thumbnails, do the tags, the links, and all that stuff. Well, Kath does the links.
I've done them all.
So yeah, editing 4K videos is a lot more time consuming in both the edit and also filming. Just everything's massive because all the file sizes are much bigger, as you would obviously expect. So it's essentially 4 times 1080p.
NovaBench does a 720 GPU test, which is good for budget card testing.
I might try that. Let's have a look. Eugene. I'm not expecting any even remotely decent results for this. Oh, is that still downloading? Oh no, okay. It was thinking. We've all had that.
Blender rendered benchmarks.
Blender render. I suppose I could do Cine. Can I do Cinebench? Cinebench would be horrendous. Low-end CPU and low-end GPU. That would be the end of the world. Is that on? Yeah, that'll do. Can I actually see the screen at all? No. Well, a little bit.
Do we need to zoom in again?
That's right. So I can close that one down. Oh, did that install? I can't see. Did that install? I am losing it, I really am. No, it hasn't. Oh yeah. Jesus. I am losing it tonight. So I'm going to leave the settings as they are. Okay, I don't think this is going to be particularly pretty. This is more of a GPU test anyway than a CPU test. I think CPU wise, if you think of the 10105F being somewhere in the middle of a 6700K and a 7700K in terms of performance, but at a much lower price, then that is realistic what you're going to get.
DVDR is off.
Cheers DVDR, thank you for stopping by. So there we go, this is currently running the benchmark. I've got the sound turned off for copyright reasons obviously. Currently we're getting a whopping 18 frames per second. It isn't the stream lagging, it is actually the game, or the game engine. That's better, up to 28, oh, almost 60 frames per second there. 60 frames per second.
Chipset and all drivers up to date?
Yes, they should be. The chipset drivers and, well, the install that was on there was from my 10600, which I did earlier. So it's effectively exactly the same. And the drivers for the graphics card were earlier as well. Actually doesn't look too bad. It looks better than I thought it would. Well, it's £300 for a PC. What else do you want? You can't even buy a console for that hardly, can you? Or can you now? I don't follow consoles at all. I still think that Unigine Heaven looks pretty. No, I was going to say something then, but I'm going to stop myself short. I'm not going to say it. So hopefully someone is going to get a moderately nice PC. And chances are they'll get it with a new set of fans and a different controller. What else can I pack away? Oh, motherboard box. So that can go in there. That can go in there. With the absolutely useless remote control. Yeah, good point. Yeah, the Series S would be a better option. If it is just for gaming, then the Series S is going to be the way forward. I've always said it, and I continue to say it to this day. When it comes to a PC, you're not buying a games machine, you're not buying a word processor, and you're not really buying a communications device. You're basically buying all of that into one. So whether you want to use it as something to communicate with, educate yourself with, pirate games with, download movies with, whatever you want to do, that is why we pay the extra for a PC. The flexibility of doing pretty much whatever you want. Editing videos, creating content, it's all those things wrapped into one. So comparing directly with an Xbox is an unfair comparison. An Xbox can do a lot of those things, don't get me wrong, but essentially it isn't a PC. Or a Mac. Or a Linux. Although it's quite close, I suppose. Right, so that is that. So overall, what did we spend on this bad boy? We spent £90 on the GPU, we spent £28 on the motherboard, we spent £44 on RAM, we spent £68 on the CPU, £30 on the case. It says £15 on the SSD, I'm sure I paid more than that. Did I pay was it 40 quid for the two?
What was that one?
When we collected those two NVMe drives, was it 40 quid for the pair?
I don't know.
I thought it was 50. I thought it was 20 and 30. Maybe it's 15. Oh well, that's debatable. So £15 for the SSD and 15 quid for the PSU, which gives us a total of 290 of your UK Earth pounds. So yeah, I don't think it's too bad. And what have I written on there? Oh, that's notes for something else. The 300 quid, not bad. FPS 29.1 and a score of 734.
Must also have one GPU
That is
Z specs appearance in this live stream, Mike.
Have what? A GPU Z? GPU, or let's quit that out because that was hideous. What was it? GPU Z?
Specs.
It's not gonna look. It's not gonna be pretty, is it?
No, I think you will laugh if you have the DDR4 version.
Oh no, it's definitely not the DDR4 version. GPU Z from Tech Power Up. And download.
And try Bench.
What is NovaBench? I've never heard of that before. It does feel quite nippy actually. Surprisingly so. But I suppose the 7700K did feel quite nippy, so makes sense. Right, what have we got here? So NVIDIA GeForce GT1030 using the GP108 Silicon 14nm process. Release date the 5th of February 2017, back in that heady day. We've got a heady, is that 1800 million, so 18 billion transistors. Who cares? The more important thing, so PCI bus is PCI Express 4x3. Nice. And we've got, where is it? A whopping 384 shaders. And it is GDR5 Samsung 64-bit bus. Nice. And let's have a look at our sensors. These sensors are doing some nice things there. GPU temperature currently is at 28 degrees, which is actually cooler than the CPU, I think. And the hotspot is at 36 degrees. Insane. Right, I just realised what the time is, so I think we're going to have to start thinking about wrapping this up, so I'm going to shut this down.
Bench is free, non-commercial mic. It's a great all-round test for budget systems with a 720p GPU test, which gives you an idea of real-world scores. Okay, I'll try NovaBench. I've not tried it before, so let's fire it back on. See if we've lost any seconds on our power-up time. It's a good job it didn't take long to fire up, actually. That is bloody quick. Right, NovaBench. And I think Poppy should be seen.
Is that the one? NovaBench, download for free. For Windows. Hey Pops.
You gonna roll over a bit?
There's Poppy.
Just see her very well.
Oh, she's got the IO shields in her sights, haven't you? You're tired, aren't you? You've been tired all day, you lazy bones. You were out partying last night for your New Year's special. Oh, yawning as well. You are tired, aren't you? Open file. Check for updates. Yes, okay. This looks decidedly dodgy. Is it just doing the same thing again? Finish. I've not seen this before. Right, NovaBench, so benchmark, start tests. I guess that's what I have to do. I'm not going to read into it too much. Oh, Pop is interested. Running targeted tests, CPU. About 1 minute remaining. Right, I'm going to get rid of some of this rubbish off the desk.
On the official site, it's fine.
Okay. I'm assuming that is the official site, although it was from a Bing link, so it could be anything. Bloody Microsoft.
Tell Jim's Tech we quite often have to put Cat TV on just to be able to film a video.
We do, yeah. Cat TV is something that we put on frequently for the cats to enjoy. Well, I don't know if they enjoy it, but we enjoy the silence, put it that way. It's not much of a visual test, this, is it? Luckily, Poppy's the... Oh, here we go. Poppy, look. Don't look at the flashy lights, look at the screen. That's where the excitement's at.
She's looking at herself in the reflection.
Oh.
It's like her mother.
So in the moment running that test, it's currently getting about 45 frames per second. Which is probably about right for if you were playing games on it. So Nova bench score is 1896, if you can see that. Oh, Poppy, magnetic collar. It's not good for things like that. Oh, you bloody animal. Stay away. You're a terrible burden on your poor grandfather. Right. Nova bench score 1896. A CPU score is 1034. RAM score 277. GPU score of 419 and disk score of 166. I don't know if that makes any difference to anybody at all, but hopefully if you know what that means, or actually let's view performance comparisons. I don't want to do that. Continue without a profile. So yeah. Overview, system era, 2017 to 2021, so it sounds about right. And relative score plus 18% and overall rank 79th. Poppy! So yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So part performance, GPU 82nd, CPU 75th. Baseline is CPU's 3% more. So for entry-level gaming PCs. Oh God, here's Fatty. Flame, what are you doing?
No.
Anyway, right, that's that done. Nova Bench has been completed. I might actually start using that. It looks quite a decent little program. Oh God, surrounded by cats now.
Mabes.
Watch out, Kath, as you'll be in the reflection. Right, Poppy, mind your head. Let's disconnect all that, unplug that, and the IO shield is still in place. It didn't fall out. That makes me moderately happy. Hey, there we go. I think we're back. I think it's working. Bloody hell, the flux capacitor broke. There we go. Thank you, Bob, for the super chat. Where's that bloody cat gone now?
Don't know. Come here, Babs.
Right, is that working? Yes, it is. Did I do that right? Oh my goodness. Right, there's something definitely a bit screwy with my HD60 capture card, so that is going to go in the bin. Bastard thing.
It wasn't Poppy.
It wasn't Poppy, no. Poppy wasn't to blame, it was me. Every time I move, I could hear the USB thing go for the, like that noise. I could hear that. when I moved it, so there's definitely something not quite right with the capture card, so we're gonna have to remedy that. What are you watching now? Who's that? Who's that? Don't attack yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Thank you, Stuart, for your €5 super chat. It says great stuff. You must be watching something else. Oh no, Poppy, don't go with the blue roll. Don't attack the blue roll. No, it's expensive. And when the next crisis comes out and there's no bog roll, Mummy and Daddy will be needing this to wipe their backsides. When the daily sport and all that stuff's run out.
Do they still have that?
I don't know. Right, where's my screen gone? Oh, it's gone a bit funny. Never mind. Right, so let's catch up with some of these things. So, overhead cam then fade to black. Is it working now? Okay, I should have asked that. It does appear that it's working. Yes, it does seem to be.
No.
Poppy! Oh, for God's sake. Wait, there we go. Yeah, there's something definitely weird going on with that HD60. I think either the cable's been chewed through somewhere, or it might be I've dropped it at some point. I'm not entirely sure. It's probably a little bit of both of those. So yeah, never work with children or animals. I try not to. Right, oh, there's another super chat come in. Thank you very much. Although it doesn't say who it's from on the screen. Oh, there's Patrick LaBelle. Thank you, Patrick, for your $5 Canadian towards a new capture card. Yeah, I've been meaning to treat myself to one for ages now, because that one is a little bit on the ropey side, so I might have to invest in a new one. I don't want to, but I think I might have to, just for my own sanity. Might even try a new USB cable. You never know. Could just be the cable, but I doubt it. We're never that lucky, are we? We really aren't. So thank you for that. Dave Aitken, if Carlsberg did streams, actually wait, I think you may need a Carlsberg. I need something, although I am working tomorrow and it's late now to drink, so I probably won't drink. Right, I think we should wrap things up there, because it is, what time is it? It is 11:30, bloody hell, well 11:20, he says, looking around in random places. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video tonight. Hopefully the build was a little bit of fun. We did have some moments with it where it was a little bit of testing. I might still try and get another Micro ATX case for it. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think it really warrants it. Hopefully someone will like it and take it off my hands, please. I hope, very quickly. So yes, Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you all for stopping by on New Year's night. New Year's night? It's New Year's night. Not New Year's Eve. New Year's Day night. Evening thing. You get what I mean. So thank you all very much for watching. Yeah. Hopefully 2022 will be considerably better for all of us, and hopefully the quality of the streams will increase. Although, I'll be honest with you, I'm feeling that it probably won't. Although I might get a new capture card. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching. I'm going to get this to work properly once. There's a delay, so anyway. Night all.